So, is it true that you can have the joy of spending and also the joy of building your wealth? Yes, it's possible. It's very much possible if you learn the right way, the wise way of spending. So there are different kinds of spenders. But if you fall in the right kind of spender in the sweet spot, you can build your wealth. In fact, you will reach a point in your life you can spend on whatever you like, wherever you like, and your money will continue to grow. Watch this video, watch carefully, learn about the right way of spending, which will open up opportunities for you to save and invest. Remember, it's not your salary that makes you rich, but it is your spending habits. But you can also spend the right way and learn to grow your wealth. There are two things to grow your wealth. On one hand, you have to learn how to spend the right way, learn the tricks. And on the other hand, learn the trick to save and invest and grow your wealth exponentially. If you can do these things correctly, you can have the joy of spending and also the joy of building your wealth. Stay till the end, watch this video, grab a notebook and a pen, and sit and make notes. Don't get distracted, just focus on this video and learn it. If you learn this right way, you will definitely enjoy your journey of building your wealth and also spending the right way. I am Frankie Fernandez, a financial coach and also a marriage coach. My mission is to help young families like you to grow your wealth and also to grow your relationship, because I believe the true wealth is when you have both these. So there are basically four types of spenders that I have categorized into based on my experience over the last more than 30 years being in the industry, mutual fund industry, where I worked for more than 30 years and married for 23 years. So I know what I'm talking about. And we have both grown our wealth and also our marriage. And these are so interconnected. And these spenders, the four types of spenders, three of them will take away our wealth. But this one type of spender will help you grow your wealth and enjoy your life, not only when you are earning and you're working, but also in your retirement. Let's get into those four types of spenders. So the first type of spenders, I call them the irrational spender. I call them irrational spenders because they spend more than their income. Are there people like this? Yes, of course. If they are earning 50,000 rupees, they may be spending 55,000 rupees or 60,000 rupees. They are irrational spenders. And what is the reason that they are or they have become irrational spenders? Number one, they have a very high living standards. They are living beyond their income. They are not living within their means. This is the first thing that happens. They're very indisciplined in their spending. They do not budget or track. So when you don't budget and you don't track, you don't know where your money is going. So the moment you get your salary, these spenders will spend lavishly. They will often misuse their credit card because they swipe every time they feel like buying something. They are irrational spenders. They are impulsive spenders. And because of this type of spending, they live in debt most part of their lives. Do you have any of these symptoms? If you have any of these symptoms, trust me, you will never grow your wealth. In fact, there will come a point in your life you will not have money to spend on what you need. Now, usually, this happens when you are early in your career, when you've just started getting a salary and you don't know how to spend, or probably when you are married or when you have your first child. A lot of expenses come your way and you don't know how to control your spending. You feel you have less income and your expenses are more. Now, what is the long term implications of this kind of spending? In fact, this is very important to know because if you continue to be in this bracket of irrational spending most part of your life, you are getting into big trouble. You will live most part of your life under debt. And because of this, you will never be able to build assets because most of your money has gone into spending expenses. And you have purchased and purchased and purchased things of less value or no value at all. For example, you will never be able to buy a house and build an asset. Even if you buy a house, you'll buy it at a huge debt, which you'll not be able to repay. And because of this habit, there will be conflicts often at home with your spouse because no one enjoys living in debt, especially wives do not like to live on debt. They feel insecure. And then, because of this kind of spending, they will not be able to reach their financial goals. For example, children's education. They will not be able to give a good, decent education to their children because they do not have the money when it's time to help their children get the right education. They compromise. And in such families, there is no charity, there is no joy of charity. And they become a very poor role model to the next generation. They leave a very bad legacy. So initially they spend and spend, but later on in life becomes difficult. They have to sell things. And as Warren Buffett said, if you buy things which you don't need, you will one day sell things which you need. And this is exactly what happens with this family, the irrational spenders. If you are this kind of a spender, you will never have the joy of spending. Probably the first few years. After that, you'll never have the joy of spending. You will struggle all your life. So get rid of this state in your life if you are in this sort of life where you're spending irrationally. With this kind of spending, you will never be able to build your wealth. You will never get opportunities to build your wealth because your focus, your obsession is spending. And there is no money left to save and invest, which actually affects your future life. Then the second type of spenders, hand to mouth spenders. And you have guessed it right. These type of spenders have their expenses as equal to their income. If they're earning 50,000, they more or less spend that much. Now, why do they fall into this type of spenders, which is hand to mouth? Number one, they may be having a very high standard of living. They may be spending a lot. Again, like the irrational spenders, they may not be disciplined about their spending. They may not be budgeting or tracking their expenses, or they may be having a low income. Because of their low income, they're not able to save. They spend all that they earn, or they may be having a lot of EMIs that they are paying for a lot of the purchases that they have made taking loans. So such type of spenders usually end up spending all that they have, all that they earn as income. This can happen early in life or you're newly married, or you've got small kids, the expenses are huge. Now, again, what are the long-term implications of such type of spending? The good thing is that they do not get into a debt trap because they're not living on debt. They have their set of loans or EMIs, but they still are controlled. They spend only what they earn. Nevertheless, they have their own challenges. Such type of spenders cannot have their financial goals, and they find it hard to build assets because most of their money goes into spending, except for where such spenders invest in an asset, invest in homes where they've taken a loan and they repay their EMI. Except for a loan, probably most of the things that they have are depreciating assets, like a car or a fridge or anything in the home. Just like the irrational spenders, they do struggle at home. There are conflicts at home because you compromise every stage of your life because you're not able to meet your financial goals. For example, again, children's higher studies. What happens when you do not have enough saved, when you have not invested? In the later years, you do not have money for the financial goals. And this is what happens with these types of spenders. Do you have these symptoms which I just talked about? And because of this kind of spending, they are never able to grow their wealth. They never get the opportunities to save and to invest and to grow their wealth. They also become a very poor role models to their next generation because their children often see them spending. Do you have any of these symptoms? If you are an irrational spender or a hand to mouth spender, most part of your life, you can never grow your wealth. However much your salary increases or improves, because this type of spending has nothing to do with money or earnings or salaries. It has got to do with your psychology of spending. Many families go through both these phases for a short time. Maybe you are in one of these phases. Either you are an irrational spender or you are a hand to mouth spender. If you are in this phase, in this type of spending for a short while, that's fine. All of us go through. We as a family have gone through hand to mouth. We have never been irrational spenders early in our marriage. When our salaries were low, we were not budgeting, we were not tracking our expenses, we were not so disciplined about spending. And I had a huge loan for a home, which I had taken just before I got married. And I know what it is to be a hand to mouth spender. I've gone through. But I thank God that we did not stay in that phase of spending. And trust me, you can come out of these too if you are already. Keep watching, keep listening. I'll keep sharing to you how you can actually get out of it. So we have seen two types of spenders. Now we'll see the third type of spender. And this third type of spender I call as confident spenders. What is a confident spender? When does one become a confident spender? And I think, and I believe, many fall into this. If you're not an irrational spender, and if you're not a hand to mouth spender, probably you are a confident spender. And when does this happen? A confident spender is usually someone who has a very huge salary. And this can happen mostly later in life. Or if you've got a break early in life and you've got a very good salary. So it can happen. And why do I call them confident spenders? They're confident spenders because they believe, they imagine that they have got a lot of money. And this can happen when you have high income or you're expecting an inheritance. I knew a family who were expecting an inheritance. So although they were not well off, their income was not high. I observed that they started spending, and I later on came to know that they're expecting an inheritance from their father. That's why they were very confident in their spending. Or it could be that you've been very careful early part of your life. You have saved, you have invested, you've been careful with your spending, and so you do not have any debt. So you are confident of your spending. But again, the problem here is confident spenders do not budget and they do not track their expenses. So these are some of the reasons why someone can be a confident spender. But again, this type of spending will never help you grow your wealth. You may enjoy spending for a few years or number of years, but it has a flip side. It has drawbacks. This can happen in the phase of life when you are top of your career, maybe in your 40s or 50s. Rarely it can happen early in life unless you have a very high salary right from your first job. But that doesn't happen often. You do not have so much money early in your career, but this can happen later on in your 40s and 50s. Now, what is the problem with this kind of spending? What is the problem if you are a confident spender? Because you're confident in spending, you obviously spend a lot, and such spenders accumulate a lot of assets which are not appreciating assets. A lot of their assets are depreciating assets because they think that they have a lot of money, probably a lot of investments, and a lot of money in their bank, disposable income. They spend lavishly, impulsively. They're not careful about their spending. So, what happens is that affects their investing. And because that affects their investing, they're not able to have those financial goals. They do not plan their financial goals, assuming that when the time comes, they will have enough money. But that's a misunderstanding. If you've not planned your financial goals, you will not be able to meet your financial goals. Because often financial goals are much later in life. And because of inflation, the financial goals inflate, which means what is today 10 lakhs, probably it will be 50 and 60 lakhs. And you are caught unaware. So when the time comes for sending your children for higher education, you do not have enough money. Probably then you will take a loan, ask your children to take educational loans. And that is a compromise. Or they do not choose the career of their choice, and that is a compromise. And such families will accumulate a lot of assets which are of no value or depreciated value because they keep buying. And again, such spenders leave a very poor legacy because children grow up in an environment where there is spending. And obviously, such families also compromise on their charity and giving because spend most of their wealth in buying things. Are you this kind of spender? In my assessment, in my experience, I have found many in their 40s and 50s, they are this type of spenders, confident spenders. Are you one of them? If you're one of them, you will enjoy spending for a temporary period. But after that, especially in later years and in your retirement, you will not be able to enjoy because you would not have planned your financial goals. Now, the spender number 4. This is kind of spender we all should become. If we become this kind of a spender, we will enjoy spending and also enjoy growing our wealth. And this kind of spender, I call the conscious spenders. I call them conscious because they are conscious about what they buy when they buy. They are the smart spenders. They are the wise spenders. They enjoy life, not just in the present, but also in the future, in their retirement. Why are they called the conscious spenders? what are the reasons or what are the characteristics of these people? Obviously, they are very disciplined in their spending. The number one thing that they do is budgeting. Friends, do not underestimate the power of budgeting. If you learn how to budget, you actually have won half the battle. If you remember, I talked at the beginning of this video. The two ways that you can enjoy spending and grow your wealth is when you control your spending. That gives you an opportunity to invest. And when you invest rightly, your wealth grows exponentially. And when your wealth grows exponentially, at some point in your life, you enjoy the freedom of spending as you like, wherever you like, whenever you like. And that is the power of being a disciplined spender. And the key is budgeting. You must budget. It's hard initially, it's boring, it's tedious initially. But once you get into the habit of budgeting and tracking your expenses, once you are in control of your spending, you will enjoy spending and at the same time enjoy building your wealth. And again, as I mentioned earlier, it is not your salary that makes you rich, it is your spending habits. And those who are conscious spenders, I have seen all of them, they actually grow their wealth. And this can be any time in your life, early in your career, mid career, or late in your career, single, or married, or even after you have kids. Because these type of spenders are wise and smart spenders. They enjoy life. They buy all the things that they like after budgeting. They know where to buy. They know where to get it on discount. They do research. They just don't go and buy anything, whether it's a refrigerator or a microwave or a car or whatever. They research, whether it's online purchases, offline purchases. They keep their eyes open, they keep their ears open. Mind you, they enjoy their spending. They buy what they like, but they buy it wisely. Because they're budgeting and tracking, they're able to track their wastages. They're able to cut down those expenses which they don't need. They keep those expenses which are necessary. For example, food. No compromise on food. Education. But you can very well compromise on eating out, for example. Extravagant vacations. So they know how to cut down their expenses where it is required. But they also enjoy spending on the right things. They enjoy building memories. Not all spending is bad. They believe that not all spending is bad. For example, spending on the right kind of vacation, budget vacations. Maybe going out to a restaurant which is less expensive, but at the same time, you can enjoy as a family. They go to discount stores. They put that little effort. They're not lazy. They put that little effort of searching where you get discounts. Again, they enjoy their spending. They buy the things that they like. And because they have controlled their spending, they're able to have a big, sizable income which goes into savings. These spenders, conscious spenders, decide and determine that they will set aside every month 10 to 20% of their income in savings. They write down their financial goals. And based on their financial goals, they come to know how much they have to save, how much they have to invest to reach that financial goal. If you do not know how to write down your financial goals and how much to save for your financial goals, you can watch my video. You can check in the playlist. I have a video made for those who don't know how to prepare their financial goals and how to compute their financial goals. Watch this video. Common financial goals, DIY. I've actually shared a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet, where you can actually compute your financial goals and how to reach your financial goals. So, conscious spenders know how to reach the financial goals. And because they have controlled their spending and they have invested early in life, their wealth grows exponentially. They're able to take advantage of compounding. If you save early in life, you get the advantage of compounding in the next 10, 15, 20 years. And these families who are conscious spenders take advantage of this compounding. And because their wealth grows later in life, they're able to have a bigger disposable income, which they're able to spend. Because they're conscious spenders, they've learned how to control their spending very early in life. And because of that, they're able to make the wise choices. They do not purchase things that are of less value. They do not keep accumulating things. They do not keep buying and buying. So they have limited things, but at the same time, they enjoy their life. And because they have saved early in life and they've invested in the right products, they're able to take advantage of the compounding and their wealth grows. And because of that, later in life, they're able to spend on things that they love. They have the financial freedom of spending on whatever and wherever they like because they do not have any loans. They've grown their wealth. They're able to meet their financial goals, their children's education, or buying a house, or buying a car, or maybe philanthropy. And because of compounding, they're able to withdraw from their investments without really affecting the growth of their wealth. So, this is the kind of spenders we all should be. And what are the long term implications of this spending? They have useful possessions with them, they leave a great legacy for their children. And because they have such a huge disposable income and wealth, they're able to give in charity. And there is such a great joy in giving. And because they're able to give, they're able to spend, they truly live a financially free life. Not only in the earning years, but even beyond, even in their retirement years, they're able to spend where they like, they're able to give whoever they want to. And that is the true joy. This is what I mentioned earlier, the joy of spending and the joy of growing your wealth. And that can happen if you fall in this kind of spender, the conscious spender. How far are you from this kind of spending? The number one place to begin is begin with a budget. Once you budget and track your expenses, you will be able to track all your wrong spending and your wastages. And then when you have a good, sizable amount of disposable income where you can save and invest, that wealth will grow and multiply over the years, which will give you the freedom to withdraw whenever you want. Would you like to become a spender like this, a conscious spender? What kind of a spender are you right now? Are you the irrational spender or are you the hand to mouth spender or are you the confident spender? And I urge you as a family, husband and wife, sit together, plan together. If you are not in the habit of budgeting, I strongly urge you sit together as a family, as a couple, and plan your budget. And one of you take the responsibility of tracking your expenses. Once you have these two in control, you will be able to enjoy your spending at the same time. Enjoy growing your wealth. I hope you have learned something. And if you feel that this has added value to you, please comment and let me know what you liked. And even if you have not liked, if you feel that something is missing, please do let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your comments. And if you really enjoyed this video, you can give a thumbs up. And if you are not a subscriber, I ask you to subscribe to this channel. I'll keep adding content which will help you as a family to grow your wealth. Hope to see you soon.